On weigh-in this morning, the Easter Bunny delivers the treats for Lupo Solitario in the traditional Easter handicap at Ellerslie. Trainer Denise Guy is with us. Stephen Marsh has another handy filly on his hands as Miss Janet proves too good for them in the 2-year-old feature. She's gold all right. Solid Gold continues the promising start to her career, adding black type to her name in just her 6th start. And the pieces of the puzzle remain well intact as Jigsaw continues his remarkable run of top-level success, claiming the Quokka. A very good morning to you. Welcome into weigh-in on this Sunday morning off the back of some good racing here in New Zealand and a couple of Group 1s and of course that Quokka across the ditch as well. Aidan Rodley and Emily Murphy with me in studio. Lupo Solitario, a horse who not long ago was in Hong Kong, comes back here and has had a bit of success already. It's
a great story, isn't it, actually, and no doubt pretty significant for Connections to have got this horse back to New Zealand and then to see him achieve such high-level success. A small stable, Denise Guy, but achieving great things. So yesterday would have been no doubt a pretty landmark day.
Yeah, it was great to see obviously Lupo win, and also we saw some really nice performances. 2-year-old Miss Janet was terrific. Solid Gold, really good in the championship stakes, but right through the day we had strong races full of depth and quality, and I think that's a reflection of just how much confidence there is with Ellerslie. Like you say, good racing from Australia, and some really nice performances from that Whanganui meeting as well. Yeah,
we'll be taking a look at plenty of it over the next hour, but first of all it is the Manco Easter Handicap, won of course by Lupo Solitario.
Lupo Solitario showed his 3-year-old form again last time out when he won out of Windsor Park, because it was a long, sustained run. Of course, he'd gone to Hong Kong and come back. His writing was on the wall with how he ran 2 starts ago. How do you see him faring here today?
Yeah, even his first up run was pretty good from a long way back. All the best sectionals at Te Rapa that day. He built to that win last time out. The blinkers go on. There's just a lot of upside about Lupo Solitario.
We're set. Ready. Gates are back, they're off in the Manco Easter. Now first away is going to be Churchillian from Drop of Something. Kafra from the deep goes forward, followed out by Lupo Solitario and the pacemaker Churchillian, a length in advance of Kafra. 2 lengths away, Drop of Something is third, followed round then by Lupo Solitario. On the turn, 400 metres out in the Manco Easter, and the leader is Churchillian, tackled by Kafra. 2 lengths away, Lupo Solitario, followed by Mollified, Drop of Something. The back mark is still a fair way off them. Cannon Hill's warming up late, and behind these then is December getting away on. Lupo Solitario ranged up to Kafra. December's running on late, and so is Top Shelf coming after them. Lupo Solitario, Top Shelf, and out wide Cannon Hill. Lupo Solitario has just got there, I reckon, from the late finishing Top Shelf. Then there's a photo for third. We've got either Cannon Hill out wide or right in line with it, El Sari. Great finish. It was always shaping up to be a thrilling contest. Whanganui pin aboard, number 16, Lupo Solitario for Denise Guy, and they'll get the win in the Manco Easter.
He's back. It's great to see him back. Lupo Solitario, a horse that was a high-class 3-year-old here in this country. He was then sold to Hong Kong. He is back in New Zealand.
And I'm so grateful to the owner for getting him back here and allowing me to be in this position with him, because we all love him. We all loved him before, and yeah, he's wonderful to have in the stable, very lucky. He's just such an honest, tough horse. He's a racehorse, proper racehorse.
He's very easygoing. He's such a gentleman. You just drop your hands on his neck. It's his first time with the blinkers on. Usually they can get up and over race, and I did give him a dig today and he was out of his comfort zone, so yeah, fair play to him. He's still very green, so yeah, good future for him.
You're taking a little bit of time off, come back, and nice to be getting the timing right for yourself to come back with an Easter win, right?
Yeah, I know, yeah, I just love Windsor racing, and yeah, it's great to be back. I'll be riding every week.
Lupo Solitario beats Top Shelf, Cannon Hill and El Sari. We just saw Whanganui pin there, and it was a great ride from him and a great training performance as well from Denise Guy, who is with us now on the show. Denise, thank you very much for jumping on. A massive congratulations to you. How satisfying was that performance, the ride from Whanganui, and just, I guess, to get that cherry on the top with the whirlwind trip that Lupo Solitario has had in his career in recent times?
The win was very special. And look, it was an 11 out of 10 ride by Bill. So, yeah, just very happy to get it done.
Denisa, talk to me about the preparation and what you've done to sort of get him back from Hong Kong and back racing at his best. It seems like he's hit winning form pretty quickly off the back of that.
Oh, there's been a lot of work behind the scenes, and a lot of people to thank for that work. But yeah, he came back from Hong Kong and not in great shape. He'd had a nasty race fall up there, and definitely had affected his body and his racing confidence. So yeah, we just took him along very slowly, took our time. Each run, I thought he just got better and better. And I sort of, after the Pukekohe run, I realised we sort of had him back to where he was a lot more confident. And and it culminated in a fantastic result yesterday. But yeah, a lot of hard work's gone into the horse, definitely to get him back to where he is.
You mentioned the confidence being up off the back of that win at Pukekohe. Obviously, you didn't draw particularly favourably yesterday in that Easter handicap. What was the discussions with Wiremu pre-race?
Well, during the week, I talked to Bill and we'd sort of talked about trying to get a little bit handier, maybe midfield with a little bit of cover, and then letting him run in from the 800. But after I watched the first few races yesterday, that that wasn't going to work. They weren't really running on from back, and also I wasn't sure how he would handle the bit wetter track conditions. He's definitely not as brilliant, with a little bit of cut in the track. So then we went to plan B, and I said, look, you're just going to give him a good warm up before the race and go forward. And I can't believe from barrier 11 he managed to get into the 1-1. It was very, very good.
One thing about him, Denise, and that might have given you confidence, is that when he'd raced at his best as a 3-year-old, he was able to get handy. I think, when he won the Bone Crusher, he settled basically in the trail that day. Was that part of your thinking, knowing that he'd done it before, especially in your care?
Yeah, look, the horse is very casual, and if you don't stay on top of him the whole time, he just drops out of gear. And I don't think he needs to be ridden back. I think he just needs to be put in, reminded that he's got to stay on the bridle and stay in the race. He's very, very casual. I mean, he's probably the worst track worker at Matamata track. He's gives you nothing on the training track. So I just took a chance that I said to Bill, just stay on top of him the whole race, just keep him on the bridle, and yeah, that definitely worked.
The other small change that you made was putting the blinkers on for the first time. Tell me about that decision and how you think that affected him, or if it had obviously a good impact yesterday.
I'm not sure if it added much, to be fair. I hadn't used the blinkers at all. I didn't put them on him at all before the race because I thought, look, I needed something to maybe just sharpen them up slightly, and I thought if I'd put them on a couple of times before the race, it might just take the edge off using them. But yeah, I'm not sure that they added much, but maybe they added just that enough to get us a little bit more forward.
You mentioned the fall in Hong Kong and him coming back with not as much confidence. Can you take us inside what you actually did with him and how you got him back to this level? Oh,
just like when we got him home, I had quite a lot of physical therapy done on him. Tommy Burns, Peter Neal comes to him weekly, and his feet. The biggest problem with him was his feet. So my farrier Bo Telfer has done a magnificent job. It was no mean feat to get his feet back to being able to perform like he is. So he pretty much lives in a box. We can't put him out in the paddocks. His feet are too flat, and a minute there's any moisture in the ground, he just, his feet can't handle it. So yeah, lucky he's got such a fabulous temperament because he spends most of his life inside. But he actually really enjoys that. So,
Denise, you said about the track work and the people who help. You mentioned Stephanie Olney, who's a key part of your stable there yesterday. But I see the horse himself. He's a real family affair. Just tell us who's involved and what that connection means to you.
Oh, look, so when he came home, obviously the owner is a very good client of mine in Hong Kong. He's bought a lot of horses off me, and after the horse had a nasty race fall, he didn't really want to go after that. So he messaged me one day and said, look, do you want the horse back? Because I'm heartbroken. I can't, we can't do anything with him up here. So got him back, and then I put my mother Gail and father Glenn into the horse. Obviously, they've been my biggest supporters, and they're loving being part of it. And it is really nice just to have the three of us in the horse.
Yeah, I can imagine it is. No doubt lots of thrills for the family. I guess the important question is, how did he come through yesterday, and what do you do with him from here?
Well, he pulled up terrific, like he hadn't had a race. I think there was more in the tank. He doesn't give a lot, so he hit the front a long way out yesterday, and I think he did start to loaf a little bit at the end. So the race actually wasn't hard on him at all, but I think he's done enough for the season, and I'll pop him away now and look forward to the spring with him.
Denise, obviously that race, the Easter, used to be a Group 1. You've got a couple of Group 1s in your pocket through In Style and Gaultier going back a little bit, but just tell us a little bit about the background to your stable, how many you're training, and what really got you into this.
Well, I'm not racing too many now. I just like to have a small boutique team of mainly my own horses. I really love rehabilitation, so I've got quite into that side of things, and yeah, I get a big kick out of rehabbing nice horses and getting them back to the races, putting them back together. So yeah, and then just racing a small team of my own. That's good for me now. Yeah.
Well, a small team and a pretty successful one as well. Thank you so much for your time, Denisa, and congratulations again on yesterday.
Thank you very much.
Good stuff. Denisa Guy there, the trainer of Lupo Solitario, who beat Top Shelf, Cannon Hill and El Suri in the Manco Easter handicap. I think we can take a look back at the race a little bit more, and she just said it there, an 11 out of 10 ride from Whanganui Pin, barrier 11, and got this horse into a beautiful spot.
Yeah, and it was really crucial to the winning of the race, wasn't it? Because Just had such a lovely soft run in transit, ended up settling one off the rail, obviously just in behind the speed. So pretty much the writing was on the wall and gave Lupo Solitario every opportunity to get home and win. If we sort of park Lupo Solitario aside, Aidan, there's some really excellent runs in behind, including Top Shelf, who's made such good ground late.
Yeah, Top Shelf was terrific. There was some effort, and in the end has got very close to winning this, and that was after giving Lupo Solitario basically 4 lengths at the top of the straight. Cannon Hill, who's slightly slower ways, hit the line really nicely for third as well. Master Fay has reeled off the quickest closing sectionals of the race, quickest in the last 8 and 4, but also the quickest longer splits as well. Lockie, the quickest last 600, was some sort of run as well. And El Suri was really good. Has run the quickest last 200 of the race, and boy, she's building. That was only her 6th start of her career. What's she going to be capable of when she really gets it all together?
And she's not an overly impressive type physically. So you'd have to think that there's sort of some amount of furnishing to do with her. So just keep a watch on her, because that was a step up in grade, and she's given a good account of herself considering the exposure that she's had.
Okay, let's hear from some of the beaten jockeys in behind Lupo Solitario, starting with Michael McNabb on board Cannon Hill.
Yeah, he ran really well as well. Yeah, she went super. Look, the way the track is playing today, it's very, very hard to make ground. She's really hit the line. She's going to win a lot of races. She's a lovely filly.
Terrific effort. We elected to go back from the wide draw just to try and get him to relax and see out the mile today, first time over a mile. So he did a great job, relaxed well, quick, and if he draws a gate, he probably finishes top 3 now and winning. So terrific run.
Yeah, first time over a mile, there was always a chance he might pull too hard, but he was good early doors. Took a little bit of a hold, sort of at the 800. I didn't really have anywhere to go, needed a bit of room, but no, next time over a mile, he'll improve.
The beaten jockeys there out of the Manco Easter handicap, and just before we get to a break, Emily, he's always been a bit of a horse that has shown that he's got something, Lupo Solitario.
He has, and it's so easy to forget that he actually beat Orchestral in the Group 3 Bone Crusher Stakes, and he was an incredibly talented 3-year-old before heading off to Hong Kong. So it's really good to see him back and rejuvenated. And when you hear from Denisa the work that goes in behind the scenes to even get him to the races, the managing that he takes. Really hope that he can target some of those bigger races in the spring and maybe put his name in contention for an elite win.
And ran second to Crecchetti as well in a Sarton Memorial. Interesting around that Bone Crushers Stakes as well is that further back in the race in fifth was Cannon Hill, who's placed yesterday as well. So it was a really nice crop of 3-year-olds that were looking through what they did that year. So yeah.
Certainly was. Alrighty, that is the main race done and dusted out of Ellerslie. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, review the rest of the card.
It's clear by 3 on the Starway. Miss Janet led them all the way and got the win. They're starting to close late now. Grand Gallows coming after. Charm Rose wobbled to the line but got there.
Yeah, it's a really good positive ride. Grillsy knows her really well.
Solid Gold lifting on the inside from Glance. Solid Gold and Lardiem go to war. Solid Gold in front. Solid Gold won it.
Great win. Great to get some black type for her.
Yeah, it was a good old day at Ellerslie. We've taken a look at the Easter Handicap and now a couple of other stakes races to run our eye over as well, starting with the Trelawney Stud Championship Stakes, the Group 3 for the 3-year-olds. This one by Solid Gold, Lardiem, Glance and then Luna Man. Another good ride here, this time by George Rook, who beat home a trio of Stephen Marsh runners.
Yeah, she had the good draw, which I think was the difference compared to her previous run. She's promised so much, this filly, and I'm really glad to see her put it all together and get the stakes win, because she's clearly in all her runs to date had above average ability. They're just crying out for the step up in distance, which she's relished, and I think she could be a really nice mare heading forward when she gets to 4, and even at this point she's really beginning to put it all together. Good tough win. And as we mentioned with the Easter handicap, there's some nice runs in behind that we can touch on.
Really nice, and she's denied a Stephen Marsh trifecta, but she'd done it from the back in her maiden win, which was really impressive the start before, and now she's done it by getting out. It was a really positive ride. Obviously, like you say, Drew Barrier won, but they took advantage of that, was in the early lead, got back into the first 6 and was able to capitalise. Lardiem was tough. Was just never going to give that fight away. Solid Gold on the quickest last 6 and 200, Lardiem the quickest last 800, and Glance the quickest last 400. They've all been there. Luna Man was the other one who ran really well just there, and Celtic Tycoon into 5th. But I think Stephen Marsh will be happy with his 3, but just not so happy to running into Solid Gold.
I guess Glance is the other one that we should mention. It was sort of pegged as a match race, wasn't it, between Solid Gold and Glance in the build-up, but just got shuffled back. But I thought she had every opportunity. What was your take?
Opportunity, I think so too. And look, I know Stephen Marsh, even leading into it, said she could well be unbeaten. Well, she probably shouldn't have won her maiden. Mazzino really probably was presented too soon, and so we'd been able to come over the top there. And then last time out, obviously there was things go wrong, but maybe that's just added a little level of hype that maybe just didn't deserve to be there with Glance. I'm not so sure. I don't want to be sort of knocking the horse, because again, it's run really well in a top Group 3. But I think we need to just be just take that with a grain of salt, those form lines a little bit. I just want to be able to see these horses go on. We want to see Solid Gold go to Queensland. Hopefully they go there now, and to see her really perform. I think it's a good group of staying 3-year-olds. Just how good, I just don't know yet in time. We'll find out.
We spoke to Robert Wellwood this morning about the possible trip to Australia, and he said a high chance to go towards that Queensland Oaks, which is really exciting for connections. The path that they take there is still a little bit unsure. There's a couple of, obviously, runs for the fillies in the build-up, but there's also a race she could target for the colts and geldings. So just the path they take, they don't know, but it is highly likely that they will try and target that Queensland Oaks. She's beautifully bred, obviously, Solid Gold, racing in the Waikato stud colours, and just has a wonderful pedigree beside her. She's out of that O'Reilly mare in Graham, and that's a younger sister. She is a younger sister of multiple Australian Stakes winner, Major Beal, and it was successful in that 2024 Group 1 ATC Derby. So really nice connection, and to have that stakes win on the pedigree page is going to be a real asset for them when she eventually retires to the Broodmare paddock.
OK, we can hear some further thoughts from those in behind, starting with Joe Doyle on board Lardim.
Super effort. Look, got a bit upset in the gates and ended up missing it. Was a fair bit further back than we kind of anticipated, but look, credit to the filly, she's run her heart out, and yeah, she's really one to watch for the future.
Yep, she ran well. Good run from back. He had a terrible draw, and we come back. It was very messy, very slowly run race, and I got going early. I had to sustain a long gallop, so I thought he tried very hard to get into fourth, but he's back on track after a few disappointing runs.
Listen, it's a good run from him. We got a very bad draw, 15. That was a tricky race with a lot of interference, so that's a decent run. He finished 5, but first time on the distance. He probably gonna find this way in this kind of race.
The beaten jockeys there out of the Trelawney Stud Championship Stakes, the Group 3. We move on to the listed affair for the 2-year-olds. This is Sky City Starway Stakes. Miss Janet wins this from Belle Rebelle, Sophia and Stromlinian. She's a good trialist, this horse, who was good into third on debut as well.
I didn't get to see her in the flesh yesterday, obviously, but she looks like a really good, strong physical type, and I love the way that she races, put into it, and she's found a really nice kick. Obviously, it was back-to-back wins for the Go Racing team in the Starway, so big congratulations to them. Little Black Dress last year and Miss Janet this year. Brought in some good form references and really potentially should be unbeaten, but it's really good to see her put it all together.
Yeah, I agree, and the stablemates run really well for third too, Sophia, and so too is Out of the Blue from a long way back, but she'd put this race to bed a long way from home. At the 400-metre mark, she was travelling beautifully. At the 300-metre race mark, I thought the race was all over. The others have closed, but like you say, she'd won by 5 1/4 on debut. She missed the start by getting hit on the wrong partition at the start. The others have got the jump on her at the start, and then she's run a massive run for third. So this is a fair chance that she should have been unbeaten for sure. But nice to see her get a stakes win in that manner. I think they now put her to the paddock and they'll look to next preparation. Does she stretch to 16? Like you say, she is quite a strong sort of a nuggety type, but there's so much upside there with her.
If she's going to get 16, she's going to get away with it at 3. That's sort of when you can get away with it against your own age group. I guess her greatest asset is that high cruising speed. Michael McNabb spoke about that post-race, the way she can maintain those sectionals. She feels really comfortable with the high cruising speed, and that'll stand her in really good stead in the future. She put herself in the race and maintain that gallop.
Especially when you combine that with what she did at Matamata when she gave the others a start and was able to really quicken late. So she's probably got both ends there. Belle Rebelle was pretty good into second as well. As I said, I thought Sophia's run was very good, and Sophia's come up with the quickest last 8, 6 and 4 of the race, second quickest last 200. Out of the Blue, the quickest last 200 and the second quickest last 8, 6 and 4.
Well, you speak about Sophia, and that's where we can start our beaten jockeys with Courtney Barnes.
Yeah, I thought it was a really superb run. Unfortunately, we drew out a little bit, and sort of her best races have come sort of just off the speed with a bit of cover, so we've opted to go back. She's made up really good ground late and she'll be a lovely horse next year.
It was a good run, just had a tough run from the wide draw. I was back and sort of on the wide train. She's tracked into it nice. It's just they didn't go real hard, and the sort of leaders in the first couple have really kicked away, but she's chased hard and she was really good through the line. Look, he went good, he didn't have all favours. He jumped okay, but there was good pace early, and we drifted back midfield. He travelled lovely, but on the corner he copped a fair bit of interference and lost a lot of momentum, but he picked himself back up and he hit the line good. So 1400 next start will really suit.
The beaten jockeys there out of the Starway Stakes, won by Miss Janet. We move along to one of the other races that we want to take a look at on the card. This is the Open over the 1200 metres, won by Charm Rose, who is out in front here at this stage and was never headed in a pretty good performance from Grand Gallo, Frostfair and Pokeroo Gold.
They've got the formula with Charm Rose. Go to the front, get her into a comfortable rhythm. She'll maintain that for an incredibly long way, and she'll get away with it. And that's proving to be such a winning formula with her. It's so interesting. She's had 5 victories in 16 starts. 4 of those 5 wins have come since October. They've just really got it all, the formula sorted with her. And she's a handy mare, and you can see she's wobbling late, but she's done the hard work already. She's won the race earlier in the running, so she can get away with it late. But another very valuable victory for her in open company.
Yeah, really like Craig Grills' ride too. Obviously he is our champion jockey, but I thought this was one of the rides of the day because he got it sectionally just bang on right throughout. Again, there was a race that was put to bed, 300 metres out like we talked about with Miss Janet. Good sectionally Grand Gully runs the quickest last 4 and 2 of the race. So Ferocsphere, I think, shared the same quickest last 400 time. Finest Hour was the one making pretty good ground, quickest last 8 and 6. But yeah, they were chasing Charm Rose from a long way out, and it was apparent they weren't going to catch her.
Okay, well that wraps things out of Ellerslie. There's one race that we want to take a look at down in Whanganui, the River City, on a fairly wet and heavy day down there. A small field here in the Kevin Myers Stables, open 1360, won by Riverplate from Bellardo Boy, Kopua and Bradman.
Yeah, just a small field in heavy conditions, deteriorating conditions as well, because after this race the track was downgraded, but Riverplate's been really game in the closing stages and managed to get the win for Connections. Christelle obviously doing the riding. Put himself in the race, led up and was good. Outside of it, I guess there's a couple of stories post the race, and one of those would be surrounding Cooper. Just did a little bit wrong, and then obviously having over-raced in the sort of earlier middle stages, that resulted in there being little left in the tank in the heavy conditions. But all honours with Riverplate. Bradman, as he can be, a little bit awkward in running, and Kapua stuck on okay, one to mark down. I think the story of the day was probably at Whanganui, the apprentices dominating, and in particular, which I know we're going to talk about later, Lily Sutherland returning to the saddle. But between Liam Cody, Amber Riddell and Lily Sutherland, I think they won every race bar that one, which was won by Christelle, so dominating.
Yeah, I thought Amber rode beautifully through the day, and she nearly picked up another there. I think you want to be forgiving with Cooper, just on the really heavy track. He's a nice horse and maybe the best horse in that race. But just conditions not to the liking. I thought Bradman, when he got to the outside, was actually going to just rip through. I thought he got to the right part of the track, but credit to Riverplate because it was a good, tough win, and in the closing stages really needed to be really tough. Great to see Andrew Campbell back in the training ranks, and obviously he's such a good horseman. You just want to be following him wherever he places a horse.
Well, Emily touched on jockeys just before, and we've had a few who have started their riding careers here in recent times, one of them being Ethan Jones, who is another Brit who's over here. Emily caught up with him not too long ago.
Through George Rook, actually, me and him worked together back over in England, and I was in a position over in England where I was struggling to get the ride sort of thing. There was a lot of competition. And he was very eager to get me over here, and it was probably the best thing I ever did.
Had a number of trial rides and a first start today. What do you make of the New Zealand racing?
I think it's on the up, most definitely. I find over here that if you work hard, you're rewarded. I've been very fortunate to get a few trial rides with different trainers, and today I'm getting a few races for 3 different trainers. So I think if you work hard, you'll get rewarded.
And I guess heading forward, looking for more rides and to make New Zealand your base?
Yes, definitely. That's my plan anyway. We'll work hard in the winter, build up connections and hopefully have a good spring and summer this time in next year.
Obviously associated with George Rook, as you mentioned, he's enjoyed such a good season. It must have been fun following him.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't have been proud of him. He had a lot of success over here, and hopefully I can follow in the same footsteps.
Yeah, well, great to be able to hear from Ethan, and nice to see another good rider joining our ranks over here, Emily.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, Ethan won't have a claim whilst he's here in New Zealand, but he's pretty established overseas. Obviously, he's ridden for over 3 years in the UK. He was apprenticed in the UK to 3-time champion jockey in Richard Hughes, so a really good foundation. Ridden 25 winners in the United Kingdom, plus 1 in Bahrain, so has the experience, and from what I can gather, has been putting in plenty of hard yards. So no doubt over the coming months, a good time winter period to establish yourself and try and make a name for yourself. Good friends with George Rook, and we've seen what George has been able to do here in New Zealand. Obviously, a Derby winning jockey, now multiple Group 1 winning jockey. So fingers crossed for Ethan, can follow in the same
Exactly,
footsteps.
another English accent in that room, and geez, we've got a few accents throughout the jockeys' rooms in New Zealand these days, don't we? So. But yeah, good to see extra depth coming through. That was great.
Exactly right. And another jockey that we can take a look at before we get to a break is someone who had their first win in the saddle, Hyuntuk O.
Battling away and behind these also Lazy looking to warm up. Bad Education from Too Darn Sweet on the inner, and now wide here. Cast of Diamonds has made the lead, and now Lazy's coming with it. Cast of Diamonds, Lazy, late run from Laser Beam. Cast of Diamonds, Lazy going to it on the inside. Lazy got up to beat Cast of Diamonds. Lazy on the inside for Hyuntuk O, and this will be his first winning ride. Proud moment for this young jockey from Korea. They simply call him O in Cambridge, and he's won his first race here in NZ.
Hyuntuk, congratulations, your very first winner. How does that feel?
Feel really amazing now. Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity, Simon. Yeah, and it's taken a lot of work at Riverplate Farm, and I also want to say thank you, Riverplate staff member, and also my boss Chad and Alicia. That was my dream, yeah. First ride and first winner.
After me. Don't play dumb, I know you fantasize. You could have me on my back every night.
Fireball goes to Cappy and Italia, and Fireball won the Champagne Stakes by a head. Bivak going well inside the 50, and Bivak the Colt takes out the All-Age Stakes.
Just what they want. 'Cause I've been out into
Good days racing over in Australia. It's been a big few weeks actually in Sydney, and it all came to a head yesterday with a couple of more Group 1s, starting with the all-age stakes. And we just heard Darren Flindell there calling home Bivakt ahead of Lazura, Jimmy Starr and Briasa. It was a cracking field assembled for this race, and the one out in front got the chocolates.
Did get the chocolates. He travelled beautifully and just ran those really good early sectionals and was able to kick off that. And he's always had very good ability, has Bivakt, and it's just probably one that Nasrallah could really enjoy because it was a pretty comfortable effort. You can see here he's last off the bridle and does the job comfortably. In terms of the beaten horses, well, Lazura ran really well, had the gate and was able to get into a good spot and did a good effort to run a Group 1 placing. And Jimmy Starr, you can see him flashing really down the outside. Ethan Brown commented post-race he was really happy to have, he thought the horse ran really well according to the track bias, and maybe up and trip suggesting that potentially could suit him stepping out from the 1400 metres, but all in all the take was that he's racing really well.
Good to see him back to his best. He was, a Group 1 winner of a Golden Rose earlier on by weight. So we knew he had the ability. Good positive ride from Nash as we get accustomed to seeing. I thought Jimmy Starr was terrific, making up really nice ground into third as well. Interesting
addition in that race was actually Jamie Melham's mount in half yours, who contested the all-age stakes.
There's a bit of money for him too, for a Cups runner.
Yeah, really interesting decision to do that. But Jamie's comments post-race were interesting as well. She said she was really happy. She's super excited about the prep, and she was wrapped with how he's come back. So maybe a watch on him heading forward from that 1400 metres. I mean, he's only going to improve when he gets up in distance. There's some lovely races coming up over a Queensland winter.
How many people would have taken half yours on a head-to-head against Giga Kick yesterday? It's like crazy.
Yeah. Unusual times.
Not a lot of luck either for James McDonald on Angel Capital, who was stuck in behind them but finished off the race fairly well. We move on to the other Group 1 on the day, and what do you know, Chris Waller grabbed another one. The 2-year-old affair, the Champagne Stakes, won by 5 Fireball from Campione d'Italia, who got all the money late, and Diameter Zambales. So Waller gets the trifecta here as well.
Yeah, really impressive for Chris Waller. Obviously, a couple of, or three really nice horses. They'd all sort of presented really well in the build-up, but Fireball just relishing the distance. A $460,000 purchase from that Inglis Easter sale from Windsor Park for James Harron. And obviously, with that Group 1 victory now, has just added to an already formidable resume. Had quite a busy season, actually. Won on debut last November before taking out that Inglis Millennium, and was 7th in the Golden Slipper, then 3rd in the Sires leading into today. So been busy. He's been able to handle that racing. He's just been coping so well with the racing, and as you can see, he's got deeper and deeper into his prep. He's almost improved. So he's done a really creditable job to run as well as he had off what has been a very busy season.
I think he was a slipper favourite earlier on too, but obviously just didn't perform quite so well in the Skyline leading into the slipper. But nice to see him get that Group 1. Like you say, he's a pretty valuable horse now, and Chris Waller, obviously with Baywhite later on as well, it's 2 more. I think that takes him to 196. It was certainly in that vicinity. So he's really closing in on 200 now.
OK, another race that we want to take a look at out of Randwick is the JRA Plate. A couple of Kiwis to take a look at here. One of them, a former Kiwi-trained runner in Asterix, who was, of course, with the Wexford team. The winner of this race from Yu Wang, Travolta, Bear on the Loose, and then She's a Dealer for Roger James and Robert Wellwood running 5th.
Actually watched this race with Andrew Scott. We watched it on the TV in the weighing room, and obviously his old horse there, Asterix, in the colours of Sam Kelp still, which is great. So congratulations to the Kiwi connections there. That's a horse coming one off the fence in the blinkers. You saw this She's a Dealer, just I thought peaked on the run there about the 250, but then kept on fighting. It was only in the last 50 that she's really knocked up. Overall, it wasn't a bad performance, but you know, judging on what we'd seen in the past, you know, who knows? You know, they said that she'd travelled and settled in really well in Sydney, but these trips often take their toll. Really nice to see Asterix back in that sort of form, but no knock on She's a Dealer. Again, it's further trips to Australia. She had one last preparation as well, so she's just growing as a Group 1 winner now. I'd love to see her get back there next preparation. I think they're coming home, is that right?
Yeah, I spoke to Robert this morning, obviously, and he said home for She's a Dealer. They were really chuffed with the run. Had to do some work from the gate, stuck her well, but a very well-deserved spell on the horizon for her. And Australia, I guess, is the ultimate, but there's some lovely races in the spring here in New Zealand that you'd think she could really target and potentially be very competitive in.
Yeah, the beauty now, and they've done such a good job with travelling horses, you know, the prowesses and orchestrals in company in the last couple of years, is that when you've got 2 Australian trips under the belt, you know, she's well seasoned as a traveller. She's already a Group 1 winner here in New Zealand. You just want to think, wow, let's get over there and target some big races with her, because I think she's up to that level. You know, she's still only barely lightly tried, and I want to see her.
Empire Rose
in
the spring.
Some big ones, yep.
Yeah, lost no admirers, that's for sure. Well, from Sydney we head out west over to Perth for the running of a race that's garnering a lot of attention these days. It is, of course, the Quokka. And what more can this horse do? Jigsaw is remarkable, isn't he? He beats Ray Magnerio, Talk & Co and Spywire. He's just on fire.
He's just a marvel, just an absolute marvel. And to be doing this sort of in a rejuvenation as a 7-year-old or whatever he is, he's a reasonably old horse. But what is that, a 7th straight victory for him? The focus, the attention that he's garnered and what he's done, that's a New Zealand Group 1, Victorian Group 1. Now they've taken the Quokka. Logan Bates just ice cool, calm and collected. He handles pressure. He's showing, you know, how effective he is at the elite level and how he can handle pressure in these big races. Because with the way that Jigsaw races, he does have to be out there in front and trusting his judgment in terms of pace of what he's setting, but you feel that he knows Jigsaw so well. There's just that element of trust between Cindy himself and Jigsaw, but it seems like a change is as good as a holiday for Jigsaw. New Zealand, bit of a holiday. Perth, bit of a holiday. He just keeps on showing up and keeps on winning. He's a wonderful horse.
The crazy thing is that those stats are apparent. He's a horse who if he leads, he wins. Basically, they just gave that lead to him, didn't they? There was just nothing happening. Let him get up there. Logan took advantage of having that early speed and was able to dominate again. Again, we said it after picking up that Group 1 last time, but isn't it making our railway form look all the better? And it's just what we need, you know, the good Australian horses, you know, they're going back there and proving themselves in Australia, and hopefully that that railway rating is just going up as a result.
And I think with the ease of travelling to New Zealand, also by getting a victory here in New Zealand at Group 1 level, you get confidence in, everybody gets confidence, whether it's the trainer, you know, you can go on and springboard that, the horse has confidence off that. I noticed Jigsaw's affectionately known around the stable as Benjamin Button, the horse that ages in reverse, because the older he gets, the better he gets. I thought that was very fitting. But all things being equal, you know, he just keeps on winning, and you've got to admire what he's doing and the handling of him, because it's not easy to come to New Zealand in January and then be able to fly across west to Perth and still perform at your best. So full credit to everybody involved.
Yeah, look forward to seeing when Benjamin will race next. We will take a quick break. That wraps all we need to look at from Australia. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, we'll look at a boutique sale coming up with Rodney Schick. Welcome back into Weigh In, and there's a big week ahead down in Christchurch with the rugby, racing and beer sale. A little boutique sale, I guess, and a little bit of a lunch as well, started by Rodney Schick, of course, from Windsor Park Stud. He is with us on the show now. Rodney, thanks very much for jumping on. First of all, how did you come up with the concept, and tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, look, it was a bit of fun to start with. You know, when the South Island lost their sale down there, we thought there was an opportunity for a bit of marketing and a bit of fun, and to take some horses to the South Island and supply the market. So it's been a really cool concept that's really grown legs.
Well, rugby, racing and beer sounds like the perfect trio, and I understand you've got a couple of good guests to be joining the crew as well.
Yeah, no, this year we got Bjorn Dacre coming over, and Andy Ellis. So really excited about them attending, and there'll be a lot of laughs, because both of them are big characters.
Tell us about the momentum that it's gained, because it's become a little bit of a cult event on the calendar, hasn't it? Tell us about how it's built over the years.
Oh, it's just been fantastic, because we combine it with a bit of a fundraiser, corporate lunch. I mean, I love having fun. Our team at Windsor, we pride ourselves on doing stuff well and having fun on the way. So, we've had the likes of Peter Moody, Kieran Maher, Will Hayes. In the first year, we had Stephen McKee and Sean Ritchie, and we did a Cox Plate sort of lunch. But yeah, it's really grown legs, and we've had a lot of fun and success out of the sale too.
I guess the important part is you're also auctioning off some nice gallopers, and there's been some good stats come out of this sale, hasn't there? Tell us about the previous results that you've had from the sale, and then what obviously you've got up for grabs this year.
Yeah, look, this is our 5th year, so quite exciting. So we've sold 40 horses so far, but we've produced some really nice gallopers. Proved came out of there, Group 3 winner in Melbourne. She won 5 straight. I think she's won 6 from 8. So she's been probably our lead horse out of it. But also Collect Your Cash, the stakes winner, Jewel Metropolitan winner in Sydney. So look, it's really good. I think the boys were saying to me that I think we did about $500,000 turnover in the first 2 years, and those horses won about 1.3 million. So we're trying to take quality horses down there that people can have some fun with.
And talking about some of the serious parts of it, Rodney, as well, is it normally over the years you've raised some pretty important money for some pretty important causes, haven't you? Can you just maybe just talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I think we've taken a lot of we've taken a lot out of the industry over the years, and it's nice to be able to put back. And when people need some help, we in the first couple of years we supported Ali Stokes. And then Rohan, when he got sick, we thought that'd be Madhu, when he got sick, we thought a little bit of help there would be good. And And then, this year we're actually supporting St John, who obviously was pretty important for me last year, and do a wonderful job for racing, and the horse ambulance, and we all want to look after those beautiful animals in their time of need. So, look, we put 2.5% of the proceeds go to charity.
Nice.
And we get support from outside as well. Entain's been a great supporter over the years. This year, Bailey's and Kia have come on as partners. So, it's we get a bit of money and try and help some charities or individuals.
Yeah, some wonderful causes mentioned there, and I did notice it was sold out. Pretty hard to get tickets, Rodney, for the event. I don't suppose there's any going, are there? No. Big Mike Moran, he's in charge of seating plan, and it's like air traffic control because we're oversubscribed every year. I think there's 35 trainers coming this year from both the North Island and South Island. And the support we get's fantastic. It's a big effort for these guys and ladies to travel all the way down to the South Island, but it's great. But we've been sold out pretty much straight away. It's hit repeat is the most people that attend want to come back. So we probably need a bigger venue. We're in the Showgate Lounge there, and it's absolutely beautiful setting at Riccarton, but it's sort of, we might need a few more tables. Can you identify your standout horse that you've got up for sale as the one that we should look out for?
Oh, look, I tell you, we've got a really nice lineup of horses. We've got 2 Ocean Park fillies in this year, which is, I think the timings couldn't be better. Ocean Park's, he's been a wonderful stallion, and obviously he was by one of our stallions, Storm Park, but he's really had a resurgence. So there's a couple of very well credentialed Ocean Park fillies there, which we're really excited to be taking to the market. But we've got Profondos, Armories, Vanbrugh. We've got a Ghibellines filly in there. So no, it's a really good lineup, and I think just probably our best draft we've taken down, to be fair.
Well, let's just talk, since we've got you, we might as well touch on some Windsor Park side of things. And you mentioned stallions there. You must be pretty excited about getting your hands on Savagely.
Yeah, that was, mate, what a fantastic horse, and I think he's probably Savabill's nicest son to go to stud. He's a very, very talented 2-year-old and went on as a 3-year-old. So Sims and I and Ben Quokka, we've created a partnership that in buying stallions. So we first started with Profondo, who stands at Windsor Park, and Savagely is going to stand at Mapley. So, and we also have Armory together at Mapley. So it's just a way to to put our funds together and buy some nice horses.
You mentioned stallions on the farm, and obviously it's probably a little bit of a calm before the storm with the breeding season approaching, but exciting times with August Rodden's first foals on the ground. Yeah, well, I mean, he's so exciting. He's probably the best credential horse ever to come into New Zealand. He's an absolute stunning horse, and we're really, really looking forward to seeing his foals. And then we've got Paddington's yearlings heading towards Karaka next year, and all the sales series. So, we've got a lot happening. Profondo's 2-year-olds are going to be hitting the track, and we've got a lot happening for us. And obviously, Circus had the Derby winner this year, so we're really excited about the upcoming couple of seasons.
I was going to touch on that, Rodney. That must have been so cool to see the progression that Circus Maximus has made. And the other one is of course, I guess you're keeping a close eye on Kaying Rising and all the records he's setting up in Hong Kong, and by another of your stallions in Sham Express. Yeah, Sham Express has been great. I mean, it's well known that he hasn't got the greatest fertility, but man, when he gets them in foal, they can gallop, and he's certainly lit the world on fire, and it's just so exciting to watch him race and for racing, especially coming down last year for the Everest, and it was great for the New Zealand industry. All right, mate. Well, great to hear a little bit about what's going on at the farm, and particularly around rugby, racing and beer sale as well. I think I might have to get a ticket next year, I'd say. It sounds like the perfect afternoon. Enjoy it, go well, hope it goes well. We might even find you a job, guys. I'll put my hand up, don't you worry about that. If it involves all three of those things, happily. Thanks, mate. Go well. Okay.
Good man, Rodney Schick there out of Windsor Park Stud, and more importantly this week in charge of rugby, racing and beer sale, and with Bjorn Baker and Andy Ellis on board as well. That sounds like a heck of an afternoon.
Oh, so much
Next day might be a bit tougher.
Yeah, exactly. 23rd of April, that's the date. Obviously you can't get tickets, but I think when you keep an event small and exclusive and hard to get a ticket to, it makes it almost even more
like
desirable.
A weigh-in out there next year or something.
Yes, good idea.
Tie it in.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I do too.
Absolutely, you're onto something
Floated it. Yeah. You can host, and Aidan and I will enjoy ourselves.
In all seriousness, also well done to them in terms of the charity side of things as well. Fantastic to see them giving back in that way. Righty-ho, heading to our usual areas that we cover off towards the end of the show. That's our Moments of the Week and our Weight Watchers. I think we'll start with our Moments of the Week. Not sure who I'm going with first. Aidan, I'm coming to you first.
Yeah, obviously, I thought the moment of the week. It's a bit of news that came through this week. Cody Cole being disqualified for 12 months. That was at the penalty hearing on Monday. This was going back into Cody refusing to give a urine sample back in July of last year. So it's been a really prolonged case, and I know that's drawn a little bit of frustration. I think it's drawn comparisons with the, how Lisa Cropp's affair just dragged on over so long. So one of the things that was mentioned in that penalty hearing was that a fair presumption for to make the purposes of determining penalty is to presume that there would have been a positive for a Class A controlled drug by him refusing to do it. So that's basically the rule. Cody's denied it the whole way through. He said, I had other things happening that day, things that would go on. You can read everything on the Racing Integrity Board site, but he's a really promising trainer. He's gifted, son of Tony Cole, so it's going to be a shame to lose him. But obviously, the rules in place, workplace drug testing is really important, and we've got to be upholding that. So, that was a big moment of the week because he's a high-profile trainer with a lot of horses for a lot of influential owners. And just to not have him there for 12 months, and it'll be interesting to see now what happens. Obviously, there was a lot of his horses who were scratched racing yesterday. They had tried to get his father Tony Cole's licence back reinstated. That didn't happen quick enough, and I wonder whether there might have been a little bit of toing and froing with NZTR being so frustrated with how elongated this was that wasn't put through quick enough. Certainly Troy Harris, who's been his lieutenant for a long time, is waiting in the wings to take over the stable, but he hasn't been granted a trainer's licence yet, which seems odd. He's got a stable hand's licence, I presume, and definitely a jockey's licence, so he does seem to be the one who will take over there. But there's a lot of owners there who are waiting in the wings to know what's happening with their horses. It's a big stable, but that news coming through this week, Cody Cole disqualified for 12 months, and then there is an opportunity for him to appeal that. I know that would be not taken so well, especially with how long this process has been already, but for me, it was the moment of the week. I know it's away from our normal moments, but it's a moment that will have quite a bearing on the status of a lot of horses at the moment.
No, big moment, all right, that's for sure. Emily?
I work with Jigsaw and Logan Bates and Cindy Alderson. I think that we've had a front row seat to the rise of Logan Bates from his return here to New Zealand during Cup Week alongside mum Kylie Williams to then achieving his first Group 1 in the Railway with Jigsaw. We've got to see Jigsaw in the flesh here in New Zealand, which has been awesome, and then to see them go on and achieve huge things and pick up that massive prize in Perth. So Jigsaw, for me, what a marvel of a horse, beautifully handled by both jockey and trainer as well.
He's been stunning, that's for sure. I know Jane was, her moment was Amber Riddell last week. Well, I'm going to another apprentice jockey this week, and it's the return of Lily Sutherland, who's had a pretty tough time of it in the last 12 months or so. And what do you know, she's back in the saddle, and a couple of wins as well, Honey Badger and Cotton Rocker. She's such a talented rider, so I think fantastic to see her back at race day.
She is such a talented rider, and because she's been away, you haven't forgotten it, but you just need reminding, because she was had so much momentum behind her before she had that unfortunate incident. Their interview with Bevan Sweeney yesterday was so nice to see her passion for racing and what it means to her, and just how happy she is to be back in the saddle. And it was really refreshing to hear that passion and see that passion firsthand through that interview.
She absolutely loves it, doesn't she? She racing has become her life. It's a shame for her to be losing it for so long, but we've got to be looking after head injuries, as we keep saying. But great to see. But and she's so shy too. She's naturally one of the shyest people. So for her to be growing, and it's something we've encouraged her as trackside presenters and interviewers to do, is put yourself out there. I know you're uncomfortable about doing this, but people want to hear from Lily because she is a great figure, and like you say, her love of racing comes across every time she speaks.
Yeah, exactly right. So well done to you, Lily, and great to see you back. What about our Weight Watchers team? We'll go in the same order, shall we? Same batting order, Aidan?
I found one from early in the day at Ellerslie. I'm going to have to be just encouraged to just look at this again. It was a horse who was able to be right there, Morning Coco. Kicks on for a really good second. I thought the win was fantastic too from a horse who was caught 3 and 4 wide the whole race. But these two really toughed it out. The other horses who were near the speed have just peaked on their runs and gone back. So I think it gives their efforts, real credibility in a race that maybe otherwise favoured those horses coming from the back.
I went to the Starway for my Weight Watcher, and I chose Sophia. Obviously had to go back from a wide draw and running, but ran some excellent sectionals to get up to finish third. And I think Courtney Barnes was pretty complimentary of the performance post-race, had been very well performed prior to that, winning the 2 races, so just missing the win in this one, but still a very creditable effort. And I think a horse, whether she goes to the paddock and we don't see her till 3 or she continued on, she certainly has ability.
Yeah. I'm going with another runner that Courtney was on yesterday, and that is Ocean Rules, coming down the outside here, a marsh-trained filly who was a winner last start and was wide and back this entire trip, but stormed home, I thought, to finish a pretty nice 4th down the outside, and I thought looks to have potentially a little bit of upside about her off the back of that run. Yeah, same race, exactly right, Aidan. You're onto it. A couple of good ones to follow out of there, we think. Here is a wrap of our Weight Watchers Morning Coco. As Aidan says, Ocean Rules out of the same race for me, and Sophia for Emily out of the 2-year-old affair. Rightio, well that is weigh-in done and dusted for another week. I'm about to go and find when Rugby Racing and Beer Sale is for next year. Sort out my ticket for that. We'll see you same time next week. Go well, enjoy your week of racing.
Baby, I do it for you. Our love is alive.